Hiya.
What was that?
Hi guys. Hiya.
Hey.
Hi guys, welcome to another Eden Ideal podcast. We hope you have all been all right. Before we recap and get into the conversation, let's have a round of introductions real quick.
It's me, Dwayne.
I'm Bim.
Hi, it's Rachel.
And it's Tade.
And off the mic, you've got Tolu.
Yeah.
Off the mic, you know.
Off the camera.
Oh,
but on the mic
you
still.
flops, man.
Flopped already, man. My intro.
Off the camera, we've got Tolu
Should we
doing
start
his
again?
thing.
Should we cancel? Should I cancel and start again and read?
No. No.
Not
It's
that
there.
deep.
It's
Not that
No
deep. And I've got the red mic today, which makes me happy.
You pointed it out to the
I
people
pointed
now.
it out because
Pointed it out.
I can't believe it's been like 4 weeks and no one has realized what the red mic means.
Yeah, that's
But
it.
I've got the red
Oh.
mic today.
I don't even know.
Wow.
Wow.
On the podcast.
She was talking about the audience.
I mean,
Wow, there are
but
people
I
here who
I
literally
also
just-
thought that she was talking about us.
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, yeah, I've got
Cool.
the red mic.
Okay.
That's it.
Just a quick recap before we get into the topic. We've been having our series on relationships and all things fun and relationships. So we've been talking about singleness. We spoke about dating last week, which was really interesting and hella confusing. And but I feel like I don't know. I don't know whether I figured it out at the end what exactly dating means. But we spoke about how
We
to
spoke
date.
about
we
it.
spoke about
We spoke
a lot
about
of
it.
things, which was it was good. And today we're going to be talking about relationships. So not marriage, but that period between dating and actual. Marriage. So if you guys could hear that, the microwave was going off in the background. So we'll be talking about that. Should be a good conversation. But before we get into it, how's everyone's week been?
You know what it is. It's good. It was good. I'm alive, basically.
Wow.
That's it.
Many people. That's been too many people's responses, and I feel like we need to change that.
When-
That's a bare minimum, you know?
when your car decides that it just wants to go out the window and basically. So I had to pay big money to get my car fixed and I'm not happy.
Okay.
So
Wow.
yeah.
But
I'm
you've got big boy money, you know.
You know,
Exactly.
basically
Man.
I'm not complaining, but I'm complaining. Like I had to pay it.
Big
But,
boys don't complain.
I complain.
If you've got it, you don't complain.
Have you seen the price of fuel as well? And imagine this. I just put
my
£90 in the tank and then the car decided to stop.
Yeah, but it's still there.
Yeah.
It was still there, but I still have to use that £90. I have now got to put more money into the car.
Oh, sheesh.
Guys, I went to buy petrol on Friday and I paid $1.99
What?
for petrol.
199.
Wait, sorry,
One,
what?
well,
no.
£1.99
Pardon, what?
per litre.
I was like, wait, what?
okay.
Nah,
Yo.
I don't know what kind of car I'm driving.
I was
going
gonna
to
say, why?
Yo,
Mate.
that's that Range
Yeah.
Rover money right
I
there.
swear.
Nah, it actually hurt
remember.
my soul. It hurt my soul, but
Damn.
that's Bim, your week?
It was good. I've been off the last week and a half.
Oh yeah, of course.
So I went on a mini break. I did a
Nice.
little spa
Where'd you go?
staycation. I went to Lincolnshire.
Oh, nice.
Okay,
Um,
staycation.
I love a
I wouldn't
staycation.
recommend it though because
right.
it's a very
Don't go there then.
You wouldn't recommend a staycation or Lincolnshire?
Lincolnshire.
Okay.
Like the spa activity was good, but the actual town itself is
Yeah.
very like quiet and
Okay.
not much
Okay, we
going
just
on.
lost
Sorry,
all our
Lincolnshire.
viewers from Lincolnshire. Thanks,
I'm
Vince.
sorry. I
Yo.
just have to keep
None
it
went to
real.
uni
You
there,
just
did
said
she?
their town is
And
dead.
she was like, yeah,
It
it
really
wasn't
is
it.
though. It is. There's I mean, okay. But yeah, it was
Okay.
it was a nice
So
a nice
you
break.
had a break,
nonetheless.
yeah.
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 Please give us the details for that because it would be nice to do a staycation.
No,
just
we're
told
not being
you
we're
it
not
was
being
dead.
promoted.
I'm not going Lincolnshire.
Not
But-
in Lincolnshire, but
But
yeah,
she said that the
staycation.
spa was nice. The
Yeah,
spa
that
was,
was
nice.
really lovely.
off air. We're not
Okay.
being paid for
Yep.
promo.
That's
Yeah,
true.
legit.
Yeah.
Sponsors are welcome.
Taz,
Yeah.
real quick, your week.
My week's been cool. Can I remember what I did this week? And check my calendar. You know, check it.
She actually has a calendar open.
So on Monday, no, it's been good. Thank you. It's been a good week. I went to Waterstones, the bookstore.
Yeah, I was like,
Okay.
what are the Waterstones?
I'm just saying, that's a highlight.
Damn, guys.
Oh.
It's just speaking knowledge. Tolu's always making fun of us for not reading. So
That's true. Fair enough.
Wait, what did
I
you
went-
get? What
I
book did you
went
get?
there to do some research on
Oh.
kids' books, you know?
Oh, okay,
Yes.
okay.
So that was what it was for, and it was really quite enlightening. Actually, like it was good. It was good, but I actually really like the bookstore.
I love Waterstones.
I love the bookstore. We used to have a Borders close, but before it closed, and I used to go there all the time and just
Which one did
like
you go
read.
to?
There was one in Angel in my right near my house, but yeah, that one was it's
Sorry,
closed
this
down
is like
now.
the nerd in me.
Sorry, nerdy. Yeah, sorry, that was a bit nerdy. But yeah, it's been
What
good.
do
It's
you
been a
mean,
good week.
nerd in me? As if the whole of you is not just a nerd. Like,
Okay, I'll accept that. I'm a big nerd. Like I don't
Rachel's
care.
actually got no energy today. You know that. That's the second time that she shut it down.
No, that's not an insult for me. Like if someone calls me a nerd, I'm here for it. What?
It's true. Why is being a nerd even an? It's
Yeah,
not.
I've
yeah,
grown
it's
past
cool.
that age, man. You can't
You can't call me
use
a
that as
nerd.
an
I'm-
insult.
Nerds
Bruh.
are the ones. Nerds are doing big things, making big moves.
Tolu, real quick, you.
Tolu.
oh man, I had spine surgery this
Yeah,
week.
yeah. I mean,
Emergency
that's big.
spine surgery. Hence why I'm off camera.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So, but praise God, you know, in one day went into A&E, did surgery, and was out the next day, walking on my 2 feet. So we
Imagine.
praise
Thank
God.
God.
Amen.
Yeah.
God is good.
Hey,
All
all
the
the
time.
time.
Won't he do it?
That's big. That's the big one. So yeah, happy. Cool. Should we get into it?
Oh, we've got
Yes,
a comment.
I've never
seen
Bookstores
Dwayne
are
with-
places of pleasure, all that knowledge in one place. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank
And
Thank you.
Richards.
I think that's
Thank
Nigel.
you.
Yes, Nigel.
Yes.
I said everyone knows Dwayne.
Because you lot don't share the link with your friends.
Do share it with my friends.
My friends just don't
This
comment.
is family right
This is
here.
the
They're not
problem. They just don't
commenting.
comment. But yeah, what was his name? Nigel.
Nigel, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Fellow
you,
nerds.
Nigel.
Comment.
Thank you,
Fellow
Nigel.
nerds.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes.
No, I'm not gonna lie. He's always teaching me something new.
That's
I
always
love
teaching
it.
me something
I love
new.
because
it.
he's in the library.
That's
Yeah. What just happened?
It was a laugh smash.
Sorry. And it proper went into the mic as well. I heard it on the headphones. Sorry,
What
I was
happened?
laughing.
Oh,
Thing is, I'm having to keep my laughter above my waist so that it doesn't rattle my back.
Oh no,
jeez.
that's
So
bad.
it's coming out in
Jeez.
bad ways.
That's
It's-
bad.
it's so cute.
Okay. You guys ready for the conversation?
Let's do this.
Yes.
Let's do this.
Right. So this week, like I said, we're going to be talking about relationships, and there's quite a few questions that I have to ask, guys.
I don't know why you're looking at me right with my eyes like that.
Oh, am I
Put those in, I'm like-
scared?
To have you like on camera.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we've
No,
got
I'm
Normally
always-
Dwayne's behind
I'm
the
always on
scenes.
camera,
We've
but
got
I'm
his-
always on the side.
Yeah, we've got his
you
undivided
know. Now
you're
attention
in.
today.
Yeah, I've handed the
Yeah.
role over to Tolu over
To
there.
Tolu?
Waiting for
So, yeah.
all the wisdom that's going to be dropped today.
Trust.
I'm waiting for it. The first conversation we're going to have is about intimacy. I think as Christians and Christian dating and relationships, that's like a massive question. And I think the thing that always comes straight to people's minds when we talk about intimacy is sex. We're not going to talk about sex today. We're not going to have that conversation.
Conversation.
And I
is
will
not for
shut
here
it down
right
if anyone brings it up.
What?
now. Watch me.
No, and like the reason I say we're not going to talk about it because I think it's a conversation that deserves episode
Its own episode,
On its
yeah.
own.
on its
Yeah,
own,
yeah, yeah.
right? Because it's such a big topic and there's so much to explore within the Christian context.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
But what we're going to talk about right now is so how much intimacy should you have before marriage as Christians within the context of a relationship?
Intimacy. Can you break it down?
So
yes, that was going to be
there
my
are
question.
multiple types of intimacy. Obviously, there's physical intimacy,
which we're not talking about.
Which, when I mean, there
There
are
is
different
different
There's a
levels to it.
spectrum.
Yeah.
Okay, on the spectrum. Okay.
So we're not going to
okay.
the top of the
We're on the
spectrum.
We're not
spectrum.
going to the far
Okay.
end of the
Yeah,
spectrum.
Okay.
Keeping it
okay.
local.
So there's intimacy.
Necking and pecking. Necking and pecking. Is that what we're... Okay, cool.
So there's physical intimacy. There's emotional.
Yeah, it's fair, but ain't it? I came prepared today.
Oh God! What is it hot because it's hot on the
Both,
conversation?
both,
I've been
both,
hot
both,
for a
both.
little while. Yeah. So physical intimacy. There's emotional intimacy. There's, I guess, spiritual intimacy. What else? What? I think those are the three big ones. So yeah, let's get into it. How much intimacy? Let's start with emotional intimacy.
I think that's like the foundation of
Of a good relationship.
yeah,
Yeah.
and of a good friendship, which I would hope the two people are headed towards marriage, where you can be vulnerable and open with someone and like process your emotions before them without them being scared away or without them seeing you as less than because you've opened that side of yourself to them. I think there needs to be that level of openness and vulnerability, especially when you're headed towards marriage. So in that sense, I think there should be a high level of emotional intimacy.
Okay.
Just to clarify, we're talking in the context of these people are headed towards marriage, right? That was your question, the way you framed it.
Because if you put it out there as in like,
is it heading
if,
towards... sorry, go on.
if they're just finding out about each other, like as in if it's the beginning stages of just finding out about each other,
Because that's different.
there's different levels of intimacy
No,
to
so,
knowing that there is a sure I'm heading towards the wedding
So you're in a
situation.
relationship, and I think the reason
Okay.
why and Tolu can correct me if I'm wrong, but the reason why we came up with this conversation, this question in the first place, was because I think it has been said within the Christian community that you need to be careful how vulnerable you are with the person you're in a relationship with, because just because you're in a relationship that might be heading towards marriage, you're not necessarily going to reach that destination with this person, right? So an element of guarding your heart or protecting your heart.
It's the same with the physical stuff,
Yeah.
right? Like you don't do it because this might not actually be your person, and it's something that you probably just want to share, and it can end out of heartache and pain and all that jazz. So people say if you open yourself to that level, and it's not just like even in just dating, people that have boyfriends and girlfriends, whether it's leading to marriage or not, like you shouldn't. There's some things even outside of sex that should only be shared in marriage.
I don't think
Like
I
what?
understand what you guys are saying, to be honest. Like, as in, when we're saying intimacy in it, like emotionally, what would you not share?
Okay,
What's the
so-
kinds
so-
of topics that you wouldn't share? Because I
So-
feel like we need to kind of clarify what wouldn't be on the table.
I know some people have shared like some of their deep vulnerabilities, and their partner has
doesn't work
used
out.
that against them and abused them and really got them in a really difficult place.
But then isn't that good to know though?
No,
Not like
the
that.
thing
I'm
is,
just saying, because
Yeah,
if
no,
you
that's
then
true.
found out later on down the line, you would have done the same thing.
no, but the thing is,
Surely.
the person's using it against them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
so
you
I don't
know,
want
but
to be
in
with
marriage.
So
isn't
I
that a
don't want to
problem?
be with somebody who's going to use my
then it
deepest
depends on what it is.
vulnerabilities. Exactly, but then if
Yeah.
it is something that, at the end of the day, my vulnerabilities are who I am, right?
Yeah.
Like they're the things that make me who I am.
You.
And so I feel like as you're getting to know somebody, and as you're not even getting to know somebody, if you're in a relationship with somebody, at the end of the day, you're probably talking to them a lot of the time, you're sharing things with them about your past, your family, things that make you who you are today. We all need therapy, right? And there's topics that make us need that therapy, and there's things that we know ourselves. I act like this because this is what has happened to me before. I feel like that's you being vulnerable, and that's you being open. And I feel like at the end of the day, if you're in a relationship with somebody, you should be able to be open with them. I don't feel like you should have a wall up because then you're not being open with them.
But
And
that's the
actually,
same
if you need to,
argument for like
Sorry.
living with someone.
No, it's
no, it's not, because now we're talking emotionally right now, like as in topics there. I'm just saying that like the topics that I would share with you that I would think, okay, this is me really sharing with you something that I don't share with anyone. Yeah. I don't share this with anyone because I want you to know me in my I want you to know me entirely.
Yeah.
I don't want, if you then use that against me, you're not the person that I want to be with anyway.
But shouldn't those sort of so what can I say? So shouldn't those sort of feelings and questions and tellings be at a certain point in the relationship?
Yeah.
When you know that you've got, like, there's no point of, I feel that being vulnerable with someone early on and not knowing their true intentions.
Yeah.
And you're telling them your deepest, darkest.
Yeah.
And then they go around and go, oh, do you know what? That's crazy. I can't deal with that.
Yeah.
If they were to know you a bit more and then you were to tell them that, the outcome could be something totally different.
But
Can I just add to it? Because I think there's one stage in just telling them, but then there's another stage in then that person becoming your rock. That person becoming, you're
The person you
depending
confide
on
in.
the person. And I think that's what I'm talking about. When people get in relationships in the boyfriend-girlfriend stage where this person you're depending on this person emotionally, the same way I depend on my wife, you know? Like, that's what I'm talking about. And that involves sharing things. But I'm just talking about the end result being you now kind of bound to this person.
do you not think that you need to transition into that phase before you get married, of that person being the person that you lean
I
on?
feel that that's correct.
Yeah,
I feel
I
that's
think
correct.
so.
As in, like, you get to a point of your relationship, so you would have a wall up. Well, not a hard wall, but as in, like, you would tell them the way of your life and blah blah blah, your entry level
Convos.
issues.
Yeah.
And then when you found that level, I feel like it will come around about the same time as when you realize this person is the one.
Yeah, this is
At that
this
point,
is
then you
my
feel, do you know
person.
what? This is me. This is my person that I feel that I will go all the way with.
Yeah.
And then you then start indulging a bit more in, like, you then go on those serious dates. You go on
I feel like you start
conversations.
having,
You have conversations.
Just
Of course,
it
of
naturally happens
Yeah.
because
I think-
you
Yeah.
naturally are now so close to the person that if something happens in your family, you might not this is the person that you speak to all the time at the end of the day. So it's probably even weird
they
to
become
not
your,
then
your other half before you
Yeah.
make your paper.
I'm
So
trying
I
to
think-
understand.
No, I think that
your-
there are different stages. I think if we go by the definition being when it's like we're ready, we're about to jump in, then yes, because that's the thing. I'm more talking about you're just dating someone. This is your boyfriend. I know maybe we're not at that stage
So
right
you're
now,
meaning like
but like there's
youngest,
younger people just listening to this that have boyfriends, girlfriends. A lot of people coming out heartbroken, people committing suicide from a relationship. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, there's a problem with that, is what I'm trying to say. Like, when it's your whole life, it's your whole thing you're giving to this person, not just sexually, but that's part of it. Like, that's what I'm talking about. So I get it. If you're actually about to get into a marriage, yes, it would be weird if you weren't getting to that stage. But I'm just trying to address that.
But I don't think the problem there is being vulnerable. I think the problem there is where you place that person in your life, right? I don't think the problem is you being emotionally, because you can have a friend who you completely rely on, and you can still have the same outcome if that friendship breaks down, where you're completely devastated and you no longer have like this person that has been your rock. So I don't think it's about the relationship or being vulnerable. I think it's about how high you place them in your life and you not having a coping mechanism outside of that person. And I think that, so I think that's an issue. And I think there's a clear differentiation between those two things. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So I guess that is
I'm
what
with
I'm
you.
talking about then.
We've got a comment here From Flow Media saying, I believe it's different for different people. Some men are not matured enough to handle anything. You have to be discerning to know if they are there yet to tell them or keep it. And that was something that I was going to come on to. Like, discernment can be the deciding factor. Like, I don't think we should hold ourselves from being vulnerable in relationships, because that's how you actually go through the process of building relationships and deepening those bonds. You have to have some level of vulnerability. But knowing where to have that vulnerability and who to show that vulnerability to, that's where discernment comes in. Because sometimes people don't have the best intentions towards you. So you need to be able to discern, okay, this person is not for my long-term season, or this person can't handle this information that I carry with me. So you just have to discern who I'm vulnerable with. But I think vulnerability is hugely important in relationships, whether that be friendships, boyfriend, girlfriend, marriage.
So just to clarify then, you think that level of vulnerability, you should be handing that out to any relationship?
I don't know if it's I don't know if it's a choice
said,
like that.
like discernment.
Yeah,
You
so
can't even in
discern-
friend.
so
No, but
discern-
even in friendship, you don't. Not all of your friends you have the same level of vulnerability
Yeah.
for.
It's true.
It's
Like
very true.
there are certain people in your life who you know that I can be completely authentic and honest with you, and not only will you not judge me, but the advice that you're going to pour into my life is one that will actually benefit me. And 100%. I think, as you said, I think actually the older you get, the more you are able to.
Yes, but the thing is,
it comes
in
with
dating,
age too.
No, but in dating, when you have a boyfriend, there is an expectation.
But
that
my
you do that.
expectation
So-
would
I mean,
be
I
that
don't know
before you get to the point where you are boyfriend, girlfriend, you have already looked at this person's character. I would not expect you to get into a relationship with anyone. Do you get what I mean? So that I feel like
think you have to get into the relationship to do any of this. So
I don't know. Through dating, you can actually figure out what kind of person they are,
I
like
don't-
up
I
to
don't
a
think
certain
so.
extent.
I
I
don't
think
think
you
so.
can.
I think that you can. I mean,
I think
because
you can.
why would they be your boyfriend or girlfriend if you already don't know that?
And
this
the
is
way
somebody that
dating
can
works,
maybe be
and
your
the way
boyfriend or
dating
girlfriend?
works in this day and age is that you actually do date for an extended period of time before you actually put that label on there.
Yeah.
So for that person to now
guys,
become,
I'm
What's an
saying,
extended period of time?
I'm just saying, like,
we're not doing that again. We're not doing that conversation.
no, but
again.
even as a married person, there's still things I discover about my wife.
Yeah,
now.
and
So I'm
that's
just
an
trying to say-
ongoing
I'm
process.
just trying to say, like, I don't think you can necessarily expect to discern all of these
I
things
don't think that it's a
before
choice like
you've even
that.
started
No,
dating.
I hear
I
that.
tell you, I don't
No.
feel.
I
I
hear
feel
that.
like
Not
you're-
every single thing you will know about your partner. Like
Yeah.
marriage
Even when
isn't
you're married,
ever
like-
changing. You're ever evolving. You're always
Yeah.
going to find things out about your spouse.
Okay, so
Also, I don't.
But there should
think
be a
that there's
level
like
of-
a list. I'm telling this is the level of things that I'm telling to this person at this. Like you don't. I feel like it's not.
It's not a
It's not a
formula.
choice. It's not a formula.
Yeah.
You can, and you mentioned younger people, right? I feel like I remember when I was younger, dating or whatever it was called back then or whatever, right?
Oh, it's called dating.
No, but there's
it
you've got
wasn't
linking,
really-
you got seeing
I mean,
someone, you
it
got
was-
dating. You've
It
got
was, unless
there's
you had a
several terms
boyfriend
to
or
it.
something. It was really you're just young and but you're young. Because every time I say things and you guys take it out of context.
Rachel, rein
But
it
you're
in.
young.
I missed the comment.
You're young, and actually sometimes it's those relationships that teach you. They're what teach you. It's that you're gathering data at the end of the day. Everybody's young and immature. You think that you're going to be living the perfect life when you're 16, and it seems like the be all and end all of everything because that's just what it feels like. Your boyfriend is your be all and end all. And then you grow up and you know that actually I have things to do myself. Like I have my life, he has his life, and we're going to do life and we're going to do things together. Like, but you don't always know that growing up, you know, it comes with maturity as well. So you might tell somebody everything because that's just what you're, to be honest with you, I feel like the more time that you spend with somebody and the more that time that the more comfortable that you get with that person, you just tend to tell them anything that's generally troubling you because you will only tell them if you trust them.
Yeah.
And I think I actually think that that's what it is because there's
No,
some
but
things that I don't tell people or that I will tell people because before I
To
say
trust
it,
it.
I'm like, Should I tell this person this thing?
But
Because
remember,
how
when
are
you're
they
younger,
going to take it?
when
You're
you-
impulsive as well.
But when you're younger, like your level of trust was like, yo, that's my Cody. That's like my
That's true
my best
too.
friend.
Yeah,
But
actually, so true.
do you know what I mean? Like when you get to like the end of secondary school, your best friend might not even be your best friend. It was just like someone there for the season, basically. Do you know what I
We've
mean?
got a
Sorry,
comment
Rachel
from-
said trust no. She trusted no, one.
I think
when
like
she
you know,
was-
no
yeah,
one.
but you know, some people start from a place of trust.
That's me.
I've never been that person. You
Yeah,
had to
no,
earn my
you had
trust.
to,
Yeah.
yeah. You have
And
certain
that's-
people, but
That's
some
what
people.
Nigel's
saved
saying
you from
in
a
his
lot of
comment. He
things.
says, "In my experience, character is revealed through challenges. After
Mm.
a few, you know what you can and shouldn't share with your potential spouse." That's so true.
Yeah, it's true.
So
That's
answering
so
the
true.
question, the answer is yes. It's just it's not.
It's like you have to
Yeah.
put some
Yeah.
tests
binary
out
whether
there
you're
first.
dating,
Yeah.
but you do
Yeah.
need discernment.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you are dating
Yeah.
about what you share with the person
and when
until exactly
Yeah.
testing their character
Yeah.
through challenges. Like even like I've told you guys, I really tested Steph's character this past week, and like it's a new level.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
a new
yeah.
level. She was a
New
real
level
ride or
unlocked.
die.
You're the real one.
Do you know, like, at the end of the day, there are some people who only at this point do they discover that their partner
ain't it, man?
isn't ride or die. You know what I'm saying?
It's true.
It's true. Like
It's
when
true.
you
You
actually,
said for better, for
when real
worse,
life
in
hits-
sickness and
when
in health.
real life
I
hits-
didn't mean that when I
It's
said
true.
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
at the end
true.
of the day,
true. For
it's
this
not
week, that
easy
was
taking
really
care
good.
of
Yeah.
3 children
Nah, hold
and
tight,
then a
Steph,
whole
man.
And then
man
a whole man.
that
Yeah.
can't sit down or stand up or carry a flipping baby. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I just think
God bless you, Steph.
Round of applause.
Yeah.
Round of applause for Steph.
Our
Round of
guys.
applause to
wife, our
Steph.
wife.
Yes,
you know when the
yes.
Bible
Our
says, "He who
wife.
finds a wife."
That is a
He's
good
found one. He's
thing.
found
Come
one.
on.
I found it.
Come
I found
on.
it. I found it.
Okay, let's so let's have a quick talk about spiritual intimacy. What does that look like before marriage,
Ooh.
and how much? Because I've heard people say that you should only pray with your partner, like in like I guess like when you're engaged. Like
Really?
before that, it's a bit.
I've never
I've
heard
heard
that
something
before.
like
I've
that
never heard
too.
that before.
No,
Yeah.
I've never heard that.
I've heard that apparently praying together kind of yokes you in the spirit. And if you do
Wow.
that too early on, that it can cloud your judgment.
For real?
Yeah. I've
actually
heard
never
that.
heard this before, you know.
But then I'm like, where scripturally, there's nothing to like confirm that because
that's true too.
prayer is our bread. And
Yeah.
like when we do it with one another, like where 2 or more people are gathered, God is there. But I do get it. Like obviously emotions are high. This
Yeah.
is the person that you want to
You
do
have
life with.
intentions
I
Like,
guess
yeah,
it also
it's
kind of
different.
links to when people are like you should be careful who like you have as a prayer partner. Like there's also that element of it. I don't know where I stand on this, so
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
actually I'm
Same.
listening to you guys, and I want to know where I end up on this. 'Cause
I
actually don't know.
I don't even know. Like it's the first time I'm hearing about this. Don't pray with just
anyone.
anyone.
I mean, I
Like,
think it's wise
'cause
to not pray
But the
with
thing
anyone,
is,
though.
everybody's always said, Joe, if you feel, Well, it's true. But if you feel connected with someone, it is to bring the Lord into that relationship, is it not? That you feel correct, and then maybe He will.
Maybe it's the prayer
I
points
hear
too.
in theory.
Yeah, but the
That-
thing is,
that
then you
sounds-
could have that prayer of like move my pagans away from me, and that person will go. But
Can you imagine being with someone and praying together
need
that
to
God, if
add
this
that as a
relationship
prayer
ain't
point.
supposed to be it, then let it go. And
Yeah.
you're praying with your partner.
Awkward.
But that might be able to.
It is
The
awkward,
thing is,
isn't it?
it's like when the pastor prays like on stage and he's praying hard and he's like, "There's someone in the room that has done something wrong," and you're like going back through your mind and you feel like that 10p sweet he's talking about, that 10p sweet when I was 4. But do you know what I mean? Like, as in,
Isn't
Yeah.
the scripture "don't be unequally yoked"? Isn't that because like no, because we've talked about what the yoke is, and it's around who's directing and who's shaping you. So
We haven't spoken about it on the
on
pod.
the podcast, we talked about a Bible study, but
Yeah.
like the point is when you are with anyone spiritually, you want to make sure it's someone who's really building you up biblically according to the word in the spirit. So if you have anyone, friend, boyfriend, husband, wife, that is, translating the Bible for their own benefit, and then you are then kind of being yoked to that person is then guiding you, determining your theology, then I think that becomes a problem. I think that's where that might have been coming from.
But in saying that, at what point? Because I think praying with someone is actually a very intimate thing. It can be a very vulnerable thing as well.
Yeah.
So based on the conversation that we were just having about being emotionally vulnerable, I think praying with someone and being spiritually vulnerable with that person can heighten emotional vulnerability.
So it's the same answer, discernment. Like, you need to have discernment about
I think so.
and what you're praying with.
And
I mean,
so is there a
spiritually,
when?
Can you also do? Can you not do? So what? Can you not do like reading the Bible together, reading passages, doing things? Because we're talking about praying together. So how do we add God to it? God to your relationship. If you're not praying, you're not praying together. Can you read the Bible together? And when you then read the Bible together, will you not pray? Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, how do you then have that grow spiritually and in that moment too? Because I feel like it would be nice to be able to have, because you can have those conversations about God and about the word and different passages and stuff. But how do we take it up a notch? Or should we not take it up a notch? Should we only keep it as, what did your what are you learning today or something, like, where it's very much so we're just sharing what we know. How do you take it up a level?
Isn't it just that discernment? Like, if you are both studying and learning and on that journey, by all means go for it. But if it gets to a point where this person is saying, like the time, I don't know if I'm exposing.
Don't expose, bro. Don't expose.
I can see him looking at me.
Don't expose.
No. Tadeo has had like a heavy Pan-African influence in the past, and a lot of her Pan-African friends would read things in the Old Testament and they'd be like, yes, see, this is what it said here. Nah, this is blah, blah, blah. And they start interpreting the Bible based on Pan-African whatever they're thinking.
But you,
I'm saying, if you're
right, that happens
exactly. So if you're with someone,
those years ago, there was somebody that
what is Pan-African,
and he was really, well, I don't want to get the word, because from what I understand now,
you haven't been hitting water stones,
my
man.
new understanding of being a Pan-African. Somebody in the comments, please, correct me if I'm wrong. It does cover a lot of different things, right? But I remember at that time, my friends were just starting their journey in the Pan-African world and just that space. I'm so sorry if I'm saying the wrong words and using it wrongly.
I'm still confused.
But yeah, that's what I'm trying to say, and I haven't said it yet. So they were starting it in that. I think I'm not going to lie to you. If somebody can quickly Google what Pan-African means, then great. But I'm just going to tell you about my experience with my friends at that time. Yeah. They were reading the Bible and basically saying, Christianity is the white man's religion. They don't believe in Christianity anymore. It was a whole thing, and at that point, growing up with friends who I believed, we all went to Church of England school together. Our parents knew each other. We all went to church together. And then them shifting into just basically disowning Jesus Christ and saying what you believe in is not right. Like, they've told you that, they fed you that, and you've taken it, and that's what it is. And then they'll be using the Bible to now tell me things and all these things. And I used to tell Tony all the time, the amount of time,
you should see Tony's face, right?
The amount of times
I wish you could flip the camera right now.
Conversations. I was still very strong because they never swayed me. They all swayed themselves. But even though I wasn't able to stand and say, no, this is what it actually means. And this is one of the reasons why knowing the word and understanding the word, as you guys all know, with the Eden Ideal, sharing what the word actually means is so important to me, because I've seen my friends who didn't understand and I wasn't able to lead them or tell them that's not what that actually means. So it's so important for me, because I'm just like, I don't want this to happen to anyone else again in my presence. That shouldn't happen. But there was a guy at that time, those years ago. He's a Pan-African boy, and I really liked this dude because he just seemed so smart and so wise, and he would say things, and I'd be like, oh, okay. I still never. Thank God. God really had something in me because I still never crossed over. I still knew God is God.
Stayed on the
Jesus
right
is
side.
Jesus.
Well,
I
we've
stayed on-
got a definition for Pan-African.
Thank you.
Nigel's hooked us
Nigel,
up.
man.
It's a Pan-African adjective relating to all people of African birth or descent.
Okay.
Pan-African relating to all people.
It's the same.
It's the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So to add to that is the idea that people of African descent have common interests and should be unified, and that takes many shapes.
Yes.
Okay.
So for them, obviously now knowing the new understand at that time, them being Pan-African only was in that particular area of religion for them. In that area there.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
believing in the gods that we had before slavery.
Yes.
All of that.
So
was
bringing
what
it back,
bringing it
the
back.
point,
Sorry.
the point I was making.
Sorry.
Thank you. I know
But
that.
yes.
I'm gonna do another. Go on.
So the point I was making is, if Tadia was getting intimate with this guy, it's actually really easy when you like someone to want to hear what they're saying. I even put my hand up when Steph and I were doing bits. I used to remix some of the sexual
Totally.
interpretations in the
Totally.
Bible to try and get my way. I'll be honest. Let's be honest here. And
Tolu, you're not the only person in that relationship.
understand.
Don't
No,
she's
expose
cool,
your
she's cool.
wife.
Stop
She's
it,
cool.
stop
There's,
it.
There's nothing to expose. Calm down. I'm just saying. At the time when you wanna, it's easier to
believe.
listen
Yeah.
to someone
Yes.
in that space, in
Yeah.
that headspace.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that's where I think the discernment is needed.
Yes.
You shouldn't put that person in that position where they're swaying you at that point in time.
I think it's needed even if the person is saying legit things related to the Bible.
Okay.
Because they may not be your person,
There you
even
go.
though like they can read the Bible, they're really good Bible studier and like they can like dissect things. That doesn't mean
Bible studier.
is that a word? Studier. Is studier a word? Anyway,
No, I liked it. I liked it.
We'll put that out there.
it doesn't mean even then that you should just throw caution to the wind
Yeah.
and not have discernment, because it may turn out that even though that this person is walking with the Lord and ticks all the boxes on paper, that they're not for you. So you still have to maintain
Yep.
that sense of discernment. Do I open myself up in this area? Because like you said, it is an intimate thing, like prayer
Yeah.
and Bible study as well. But maybe one way to like go around that is to maintain like a group setting in where you're studying the Bible together.
Cool. I like that you
Or-
said
I like
that,
that.
Bim, because it comes on to my next question.
Oh, okay. Because I
the
don't
next
want
question out
to
there.
I don't want us to, because it sounded like we should just stay away from it altogether,
No,
which is
no.
like
Yeah.
we do want to engage in
Yeah.
Bible study and
Yeah.
like prayer. So
So I think the key take home point from, I'm going to completely skip over physical intimacy because like I said, I think
It needs its
there's
own
a
section.
whole podcast there. But in terms of like emotional and spiritual vulnerability, I think the key take home is about discernment and knowing when, where, and I guess when, where, and how. But as you mentioned, you were talking about spiritual intimacy and talking about group settings. So my next question is, how do you build that level of intimacy? So either either emotional.
That shows what's on Rachel's mind.
Yeah, we know. She's like, stay away from it, but it keeps on popping up.
So either emotional or spiritual. How do we do that? Because I guess in like the typical sense of Christian dating, you would be discouraged from having one-on-one interactions, which that's a different conversation. But how do you do that?
I would say conversation is a great start.
Yeah.
to-
One-on-one conversation
Nice.
What's a
Like,
non-one-on-one
you
conversation?
need
in-
to have one-on-one
in the same room at night.
What?
What? What? Not just like
I'm
after
sorry. I'm
church or
sorry.
something like that.
I'm moving it in a direction that it doesn't need to go in.
I mean, I wouldn't put it in.
No, but as in like no.
Wouldn't be going around their house.
No, but as in literally, like even like one-on-one dating, like some
Yeah.
like
We're not
hardcore
saying
Christian.
one-on-one. Like,
but
that is
hard-
just
hardcore
one-on-one.
You can
Christian.
group date.
No,
people do
exactly.
you can double date.
No, this is what I'm
You can
trying to
double date.
establish. Wait. This
Wait.
is what I'm trying to establish.
Do that.
Because some people will tell you can't do one-on-one
Yeah.
dates with like your.
We need to
which
go dating
is mad.
together.
yeah,
But-
laughing is hurting.
Guys, Tolly said laughing is hurting. If you didn't catch
Tolu's
that.
fully standing up
You
and
have to
holding his back.
stand
Like,
up.
Oh,
sorry.
Okay,
Um,
sorry. Group dating?
That's the thing.
Tolly, this is actually a thing. Like,
Camera on Tolly.
The camera was on
We need
him.
some
Wait,
behind
What
the
does that
scenes.
mean? Can you just
you
explain?
date as a couple, like two couples going on a date
So-
together.
So whenever
you're
you want to
ne-
meet up,
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have to bring
Apparently.
a friend. You have to bring a friend.
You have to call your friends.
Oh
You're
wait,
laughing.
let me ask. Wait,
There's a reason why people do that.
Wait, let me just ask. Is it that both people are dating,
It doesn't have to be.
or it could just be whenever I want to meet up with you, I have
You
to
have
my
a third
friends?
person.
Okay, third.
A
Or
third.
like,
As in
Like
you will
two
have
others
you will
to
have to
not
have
make it
someone
awkward.
else there to keep.
I mean, at
Jesus,
least
basically,
a
they're
couple,
welcoming
innit? That's
Jesus
what the
into the
group
room.
is.
We're keeping
No,
Jesus
guys, we
here.
shouldn't actually laugh at this because some people
Oh.
actually do this, and it is a way
no, I
to
apologize.
keep
I apologize.
accountability,
It's
and
the
it
first
is
time
a
I've
way
heard of it.
to not put yourself
Sometimes
in
you
certain
never
positions.
this.
No. I pictured something very weird.
Oh
So
my
apologies. I apologize. I can see how it's a
We
normal.
shouldn't laugh at that. Like,
Yeah, I'm not
it
laughing.
shouldn't.
makes
We should not.
sense.
It's just the first time I'd heard of it, and I thought.
I'm surprised it's the first time we've heard of it.
Yeah.
I feel like we've spoken about it before.
Okay.
About
alright.
not dating.
Okay, let's
not
get back.
being in
So
Yeah.
wait, Bin was saying conversation, and I
Yeah.
completely took it left. So let's get back to Bin.
What was the question again? Like, ways in which you can.
How do you build the level of intimacy you're supposed to have as a Christian?
Yeah, I think conversation is a really good start. Going back to like being open and being vulnerable with a person, I think that starts with conversation. And like you, I think Tads, you mentioned it earlier, gathering data on a person that comes
Wow.
from talking.
Sounds deep.
But it's true because
No,
you
it
need
is
to
true.
know. You need to know this potential person that I'm about to do life with. I need to know about you. I need to know like your character, your personality. I need to know what your likes are, what your fears are, what your passions are,
You need to gain
what your
their trust as
embarrassing
well.
moments are. Like you talk, you develop this intimacy through conversation that you may not have that same level of conversation with just any random person, like because you're going deep. Well, depending on the kind of conversation you have, like you can go deep, and I feel like that can bring a level of intimacy
Yeah.
into
Wait,
I
in a
also
world
think-
of telephones, why is this a thing?
what do you mean?
So no. Wait.
What?
Wait, you
Why
just
is
said
what a
that,
thing?
and
So-
Yeah, I
there
don't
was no
understand the
beginning
I was
question.
or
gonna say
or
something
end
else
to it.
though.
I think I'm still on group dating. You know? Man, I'm just gonna drop it. Carry on. All right, go on.
Go on, Tads.
It's like he thought about it.
He was over there just in his own conversation by himself.
I was gonna say, to add to that, I think being honesty helps you to build intimacy. If you're feeling a certain way because something has made you feel a certain way, I feel like it's good to be honest with that person that you are dating, and you say to them, this is the way that maybe I'm perceiving this thing. Can you kind of just share it? Because this is, at the end of the day, we've all got our different minds and things that move us and different triggers. So those triggers, something that person might be doing, might be triggering you. And instead of you, I'm very good at if I'm triggered sometimes I'm just like, okay. Like I start building a wall back up because in my head, I've already thought this is what this means. And that might not be what it means. And actually, if you just speak to that person and you're honest with them with how you feel, they can then say to you, oh no, that's not how it was, And I feel like when you now have that now takes you a little bit further in being intimate with that person, because now you have a little bit more of an understanding on each other.
Yeah.
you know. So
Yeah.
I feel like being honest and sharing when things crop up that you are maybe maybe not even necessarily annoyed about, or just different things. Honesty, Sha.
It's true.
Honesty is the
Best
is
policy.
the
The
best
best
policy.
policy.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
can I ask a question? We're not talking about. Actually, no, this isn't that. So, what conversations around like past relationships, things like that? Do you think that you need to have that? Because I've even been in a situation where having those conversations, it was unnecessary. Like me asking some of those questions, it was unnecessary, and I shouldn't have had to ask them.
Like
As in,
what's question?
Wait,
Like
like-
she should have volunteered it, or it
No,
just
like,
adds
It,
nothing.
should, it
I
wasn't.
don't know.
It wasn't important, but I really probed. I really pushed into things that were like very personal and private, and some things that she just wanted to push behind her, never think about again. But like, I felt like I had a right to know and uncover them, and just like
But-
reopen wounds when it really shouldn't have had anything to do.
I
with
feel
me.
there's a point of where there's volunteered information, and then there's a point of where if you have to probe for this information, and then you feel that the information wasn't even right, I feel that there was something wrong within yourself for asking those questions.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That, like, as in legit.
Yeah.
No, but like,
Yes.
like okay,
Yeah.
for instance,
Yeah.
if,
Yes.
if
This
is
There's something wrong with you.
Check
There's
yourself.
something wrong with yourself.
this is a completely arbitrary example,
Check
but like if
yourself.
someone had been like sexually abused as a child or something like that, you know, like
That's
some
nothing to do with
partners
relationship,
exactly would
Yeah.
expect you need to be able to share something like that with me. But actually, no,
No.
that's my
There's
right.
people that expect that. Why? Not like that. I mean,
Oh my
like,
gosh, there's
no,
definitely
not like
people-
that.
There's many
I
people.
mean, I mean, not like that. I feel like that came out wrong. There's people that would expect that, as in, like, it's their right to know. They wouldn't just expect.
No, but if they're
for
feeling
you
if
to
they're
be
going to get into
comfortable
a
enough to
relationship
tell
with a
them.
person, they
Or-
feel like they need to know everything about
Or if
that.
you
Right,
had if you had a
okay.
really high body count, for instance, some guys want to know that kind of thing. Like, I'm not gonna get into a relationship. So there's a question: do you have to share that? Like, are there not some things that can stay private?
See, I don't know. Go on. I don't know.
I think this is a tricky one, and you've got to be sensitive, especially when, like, well, to be fair, I shouldn't really classify when to be sensitive. You have to be sensitive because these are people's personal lives. But I think coming into a relationship, you need to understand that you're meeting this person at this point of their lives.
Yeah.
Let's say you meet them at 20 years old, or you meet them at 25 years old. A whole 25 years have gone by that you need to, in my opinion, you should at least catch up on, like, just to understand who this person is. Because we are a product of our experiences, whether we like it or not. We're a product of our backgrounds, our history, our environment. So just, I think it may be beneficial to you understanding your partner more, that this is what I've been through. This is like, these are certain experiences that I've
This
had.
is what
No,
made
wait,
me,
wait.
basically.
But I don't think it needs to be a case where you're expecting that, because no one's entitled to that information. I think that's where the sensitivity comes in. But I think it may be helpful to you building to you having an honest foundation to build upon in your relationship, to know about that person and, like, understand their history.
I think I agree with you to a certain extent. I think yes, it's important to know where people are coming from, and I think it's important, especially to know where they're coming from, in order for you to understand why they are behaving in the way that they are behaving. If there is still some points that are sensitive, or if, especially like in the example that Tolu gave about being sexually abused from a young age, that might impact on how you are, like in an intimate way. So understanding those triggers is important, but I think that's something that the person who it has affected should volunteer. I don't think it should ever be something that is expected. And I think there are ways of approaching the conversation without making the person feel like they have to tell you. I think it should be something that is volunteered when they are comfortable with you in doing so. And it goes back to what we were saying about discernment and knowing when to share like information with people.
No, but if they don't share it with you, is that okay? If they choose,
If they don't share, how would you know?
I think if it's actively affecting the way that they are behaving,
Exactly.
then I think the relationship is going to suffer if there isn't a level of transparency there. And like there's a difference.
It's affecting the way who's behaving.
No, as in it's affecting your relationship. So it's affecting the way that they are interacting with you. If you still have trauma that you're still dealing with.
What if it's not? It's all.
Yeah,
in
if
the
it's
past.
not
How do you
affecting
know
you,
that
then there's no
If
need.
it's not
This is what I'm
affecting you, then don't
saying.
talk about it.
If it's from your own general curiosity, then that's ridiculous.
No, but the thing then is, some people find out some things in marriage and they're furious that you didn't tell me.
But why are you
when we were
furious?
dating.
You don't
Exactly,
have a
that's my
right
point.
to know.
That's my point.
That's a you problem then.
That's my point. There are some things that I.
Look at the way Tad's it. That's a you
No,
problem.
but I am agreeing with you, but
Yeah.
I know that there are a lot of people that get really mad. I follow this relationship advice subreddit, and there's a lot of questions like, I just found out that she had more of a good time when she was younger than I thought. I thought we were both virgins. Blah 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 blah. Now I don't know how to feel about it.
No, but I think that if you have told someone
Okay,
you're a virgin,
yeah.
like,
All right,
I don't
bad
understand.
example.
Like,
Bad
legit,
example. Bad
that's-
example. Bad
that
example.
is- yo.
But, like, I'm just talking about, like, I think there are some things like Bim, you said like you want to know these things that made them who they are, but I do think genuinely, like, you might have been shoplifting when you were young and might have been arrested one time, but now you're like a congressman or
I'm
something.
sorry, if you have a criminal record, I want to know about it.
No, like, it's been expunged. It's gone. It's not affecting anything now. I'm a new person. I'm a politician. I'm cool. Like, why do I have to dredge that up? And let's reconfirm the stage in the relationship we're talking about here. We're talking about in the dating phase,
Boyfriend and girlfriend.
boyfriend and
Yeah.
girlfriend phase.
See, there's
Stage
I feel
3
like
of
there's
dating.
a level
It's not the same though. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
So there's basic levels of
I don't
what
know.
amount of information you need to give out to a person at each stage. Because your first one is like, oh yeah, like how many siblings have you got? This, that, blah blah blah. You know, like
Those
the
boring
the
conversations.
but like your introduction. So
Yeah.
you have to look at it like a juicy conversation.
spreadsheet, just
Like
tick
you
it
have,
off.
okay, cool. I'm getting to know you. I'm going to tell you the main sections of my life. This is what makes me tick. This is me. And then when you find that trust in that person, then you go on to, oh yeah, this is how I got to this point in my life. You might have known this about me, this and that. Do you know what I mean? It's like how you treat a friend basically as well. Like you'll tell them, you'll meet them and be like, all right, cool, here's the beginning. And then boom, here's the middle of my life. And this is where I'm at the point of my height. And then when you're ready to find the person and settle down, it's like you feel more comfortable with them. Then you could tell them you're more intimate.
Yeah, I know. I feel like, so what I'm gonna, how do I put this? I think that as Christians as well, I think let's look at this from a Christian perspective, right? I think we have to allow an element of grace as well. Like, even if you find those things out when you are married, like the point that's where you meet someone is very different. Like, we might have grown up as Christians, but from the point where you're actually saved and you start actually walking on that journey, you've done stuff. Like you have to allow a level of grace to allow people to change. And the truth is, like, really and truly everything that people, like anything that anyone has done before they've come to Christ really shouldn't matter. It should not matter. And you should not be judging people based on, even if we're talking about body count, as hard as, and it's always guys, it's always like, I don't
What do you
understand
mean?
why your
Actually,
ego
always.
is
What
such
do
a
you mean?
problem.
Like, put that out there like that, like it's a male
it is
problem.
though.
Like,
As if you don't get mind. As if you don't want to
I
know.
don't care as much as you guys
I
would.
feel like you would want to know.
I really
You are
don't
a
want to
liar.
know.
You are a
I
liar.
It's not a
legit
question
don't
that
want
I
to know. I literally
you serious?
know.
Very much. Very,
And
very
the thing
serious.
is that
Bim's quiet.
Extremely
Bim wants to
serious.
know.
It's like, that's the first question on my
serious.
list.
I'm just out of like being an open book, and both of us starting on that.
Yeah, but the
foundation.
thing
So
is
from
that
this
I
point
want
onwards.
It's not really.
I think there's a difference between asking, "Are you a virgin?" or "Are you not?" That's as far as the conversation goes.
No,
for me.
but
I literally
let's
don't
assume
want
we're
to
both
know.
not that.
I don't want to
Then
know.
I don't-
Tolu.
then I don't want
literally
to know.
don't want to know.
Neither do I.
But I think for me, I've gotten to the
Me,
point
I
where
don't
I
wanna
don't
know.
ask questions I don't want the answer to, because what's that going to change?
It's
It
true.
doesn't
it's
change
true.
any. Is it going
Literally
to change
was-
anything?
As
No,
long as you're
unless
not
it makes
like
you
you're not
feel more
carrying an
like,
STI,
oh.
I
Then
literally
why
don't
does it
care.
matter?
Like it literally
No, it
doesn't.
doesn't. No, but the thing is-
doesn't change anything
When
for
you
me.
It just makes you understand.
no.
I don't want to
it
know
doesn't
because I
make-
don't want the
that
carry the
doesn't
risk
make
of
me understand
judging you. I don't want to know.
Can I say
It's not to
something here?
judge.
No, I don't want to carry the risk of judging you. This is what I'm saying. So I'm not asking questions I don't want to know the answer to. That's just where I
Sometimes you
am.
ask questions.
What's me
That-
knowing
but
that
the
you
thing
were
is,
a
if you
playboy
ask
at
a
25
question-
gonna do for me right
If
now?
you ask a question,
Well,
wait,
come
hold
on.
on.
doesn't.
Wait,
I mean,
hold on,
no.
hold on.
Wait. Like,
I don't, for me,
sorry,
it doesn't really. I'm
Yeah.
not. Yeah.
But if you
What
ask a question, but the thing is, if you ask a question to make that you don't want the answer to,
Yeah, I'm asking.
yeah. But I think that's the thing. Many guys will ask, "What's your body
But
count?"
what are you
after
going to do with that?
they
And
don't want
then
that
you're pissed
answer,
off. Like,
and then they get
Yeah.
annoyed.
Wait.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you want to know?
We're not moving forward from here.
Wouldn't
then?
you want to know if they cheated on an ex-girlfriend?
That's a different
that's
question.
a different
That's a different
question.
question.
That is a different question.
Why?
That is
What
a
do you mean?
different
That is an
question.
That's a
entirely
whole different-
different
that's-
question.
that's a trust level
speaks to their
question.
character.
If it's a
Person was a
different
playboy.
It is a
That
different
also speaks to their
question.
But I'm still
character.
not asking you.
Wait. Hold on.
No.
But
No.
you were,
But wait, no,
you
wait,
were
but-
a playboy
Wait,
before.
No,
Wait,
no, no.
wait,
At one
Are you a
point.
playboy now?
No,
No, wait,
One
can,
at a time.
wait. Can I put this out?
time.
Can I put this out here? Because
Wow.
a play. Okay, so you're playboy. So there's this whole thing of
They
the body
were.
count. Yeah. No. Okay, so your body
Thanks.
count.
Grace says she
might-
agrees with me. Sorry, that's the only comment I saw.
You could rack your body count over like. Okay, we've got so many days in a year. You might have had a good amount of time through that year, so you could hit big numbers in that year.
Okay,
yeah?
Dwayne.
But then you can
I have a
have, no,
question
but the
for
thing is,
Dwayne.
no. But Tommy was saying about the player. Yeah, he might have like
He just
might
went
have,
through 1 year where
he just went through
off
1
the
year and
rails.
just went off, and then you have the person that went through a week and went off. That one I've got more questions about than the person that did it over an extended time.
I'm so confused.
Okay, if you do it in a short amount of time,
There's levels to this,
yeah,
right?
there's levels to the
Okay,
question.
but it still
Like
still
how
speaks
long?
to their
Like
character.
when did you
No, but
start
it
and when
does-
did you
it doesn't.
finish?
It
When did
doesn't.
you start? When
Because
did you
why are
finish?
you
At one point,
judging
at
them?
one point.
Yeah, but why does that 1 point? That's not who they are now.
Agreed.
No, but that's
So
what
then
I'm
it doesn't
saying. It
matter.
doesn't matter. But the question
I-
of what
doesn't
people
matter.
are
I wanna know
asking,
that.
Guys, I
Why?
literally don't understand
can-
where the conversation
the
is right
conversation's
now.
gone left. But
No, but I don't understand the point that
I would
people are
still
trying to
wanna
make
know.
anymore.
I'm confused now.
I'm just saying I would want to know just to
Okay.
understand that
Where they
person,
are.
their background.
Their level.
But if
Their
they
level.
don't want to tell you, is
Yeah,
that
They
then
don't
a
wanna
problem?
No, and I said that. I'm not
Okay.
entitled for them to tell me anything. But if
Nah, if you
If-
want to
if
know,
it's-
if you want to
if
know,
it's
and they don't,
op-
and they actively don't want to tell you,
You're just gonna make it up
it's
in your
gonna
head.
it's gonna be a thing.
You're gonna be like,
Trust
"Can I
me,
put
I've been
it?
there.
No,
I've
because
been there.
I don't
Automatically
want
goes
to
to a
probe
million.
people for information.
But it's gonna
Like,
bother you. You're gonna be like, but why don't you want to know?
Especially if you
Hannah
ask,
said
It
nah.
really won't.
especially
We've got
if
somebody
you
in the
ask,
comments.
and if you ask and they don't tell you, that will bother you.
If I asked if they were a playboy.
If
Hannah,
you ask,
if you ask
know,
and they
Hannah,
don't
which
give you the
part
answer,
doesn't make sense?
did you have a mad week like Dwayne
I
described?
wouldn't answer that question.
I'm just
No,
saying.
but if you ask and you
Hi,
said,
Els,
"Oh, is
up.
it 10? Is it 20? Is
I
it 30?"
I literally, I'm telling you, I would not ask that question.
I
But
don't
my
know.
principle
I feel like
is-
I'm too old for that.
My
you know?
principle
Honestly.
is,
Yeah.
People are
I don't
30
think
years
there's
old. What do you
anything
think
off
they're gonna be
limits
telling you?
to discuss.
There isn't anything that's off limits for you
What are they
to
gonna
ask
tell you?
whether or not they answer.
At 35.
And that's fine.
Okay, guys, let's rein it back
Yeah.
in. Let's rein it back
this is
in.
not a question for this podcast.
I actually forgot what we were. What was my question?
How
The
do you
question is
build
how do you then
intimacy the
build this
right way?
intimacy? How do you build this
No, by asking that
intimacy the
question.
right way
So wait, hold on. So
as
Tolu.
a Christian couple?
Okay, so we said conversation. We said being
Being
open, and then
honest.
Tolu is saying
Yeah.
basically just ask questions, but you're
I
not
didn't say that.
no, you're not entitled to answers. Like, I guess be wise in the questions that you're
No,
asking.
no, I think
right?
you actually started saying something there a moment ago around the
About
Christian
grace.
way.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
the grace.
thank you.
And
Thank
I think,
you.
like, to be honest with you, I'm with Bim, and I think we're wrong. Like, I
No, I think I genuinely think Bim, as she's speaking, can handle whatever comes out of it. I know I probably couldn't.
But
I don't
then
think
you
you
Exactly.
could, Tolu.
I can't. I
Yes,
can't. And
but, so I
wait.
know you're
Wait.
wrong. She's not
Okay,
wrong.
she's
No,
not
no,
wrong.
wait.
I was
Tolu,
wrong.
Okay,
sorry,
can I
Tolu,
ask
can you
a
pin the
question on
question,
that,
please, on the
please? This
on the
is
IG
important
live?
because
Pin
you-
Rachel's question, please.
Because so off of
Hello
that,
to I'm so sorry. Hi to the IG family.
Hi,
we
IG
see you. We
fam.
see you. We see you. Hey.
just off of that, because then you not wanting to know is based on fear of what you may find out.
No, I just don't want to know. It doesn't bother me. Like, whatever
you
you've
said, I
done.
can handle it. Handle what?
No,
You're
like
not-
you're
you're
I
asking
don't
the
know.
question to
I
find
think
out.
like I don't want. I literally there are certain questions in my life that I generally don't think it will make a difference. Like, not if like me knowing changes nothing.
Yeah,
Or
as,
like-
as with me.
Okay, no, that's wrong. Like me, I just don't want to know. Like it literally,
Honestly,
I
I
You
don't.
literally
guys are
just
liars. I'm
No,
sorry.
I don't
Me
want to
knowing
know.
changes
no,
nothing.
No,
man.
I
It
took
does
that back.
change nothing because you're not gonna judge them because of what they've told
you.
Tolu,
I
wait,
want to know.
Tolu.
Listen.
Wait, no, can I finish?
I'm good.
I then like I took that back that it changes now. I just don't want to know. Like it,
So,
it
no,
genuinely
it doesn't
when it
matter.
comes
Bim's
wait,
point-
it comes from a point of grace. Whatever you have done in your life before then, it is that.
It's not grace.
I
It's
actually
not grace
don't-
if you're willfully ignorant.
I'm not willful. I don't want to know because it's
No,
not
no,
going
no,
to
but what-
change
that's-
anything
You
that's
about
not
me.
administer the
grace.
grace to something you
It doesn't
you're not
matter.
Exactly.
aware
That's
of.
not grace. That's I just
Why do
want
I
to
need
be
to?
ignorant.
No, but my thing is, why do I need to be aware? It's not. It's lit. I'm sticking to. It's not
wanna
changing
know.
anything for like.
Will it
literally,
change
if I
yourself in
like-
that information?
Unless
Having
it's
that
who
information
you-
would have changed
it's
your look on
not
the
changing
person.
anything to
I don't
to me.
think it
For
would.
me,
So I don't want
think
to
so.
know.
No,
so
no,
just
guys.
like
Wait,
wait,
who
just
you are
like
right
Bim
now,
says that
it's
she
not-
she wants to know and it doesn't change anything. I don't want to know because I know it doesn't change.
Okay,
anything.
so
That's it.
bringing it back
Yeah.
to your original
Fair enough.
question.
Yeah, that's it.
The question is, how do you build intimacy? And
in the right way
in the
as
right
a Christian
way.
couple.
And the way the conversation has been going, it's you need to have discernment about who you should build intimacy with.
That comes with
And
prayer and the Holy
comes
Spirit.
with prayer and the Holy Spirit.
Yes.
But then when you have discerned, we were saying openness is the right way to go.
Yes.
Having those conversations is a good thing. Knowing about each other is a good thing.
Yes.
So what we've now gone into is a stage where we're saying, but there are some things you shouldn't
No,
be
if
open
he
about.
wants to tell me, let him tell
he
me.
is-
I'm just not going to ask. Like
No, but I'm
We
saying-
actually don't
No,
need
but
to
wait,
go back and forth. It's
being
it's,
open
it's a
isn't
tomato,
from-
not tomatoes, but preference. Like
I don't
you don't
think
want to
it's
know.
preference.
No, but wait. Openness isn't from you. Being open isn't you ask me anything you want and I have to tell you. Being open is me being open with you, with the information that I'm going to tell you. It doesn't mean that I have to tell you anything that you want to know. You don't have the right to every single thing that has ever happened in my entire life. I don't have to tell you every single thing. Just like we were talking about it before, right? It's not everything that some people that you think that you have that you can trust. It's not all pieces of information that at certain points of a relationship that you can trust this person with. Until you know that you can trust this person with this information, that's when you will now share that. If this person wants to know something before you're able to trust them with that information, they shouldn't expect that you tell them just because we're being open. Or we're being open, so you must tell me.
So
No.
wait. Like,
I'll be open
I
with
get
you.
what you're saying. I get what you're saying. But what if it was something like, oh, I actually hooked up with your best friend?
Fine.
Those are
okay.
different
That's a
things.
different type of question.
So it's not a blanket.
fine.
It's not a
not a
blanket
blanket.
thing.
So
But,
how do you
but
know
what we were
which one-
You keep
specifically
asking.
saying,
You keep changing the question.
Exactly.
We were
I'm
talking
all
about
over the
one.
place. I won't lie to you.
Yes.
I'm all over the place.
because
I'm
what
just-
you were
is different.
specifically asking about was the body count. That's different. If you have hooked up with someone I know and I see on a day basis, I want to know.
I would
I
like to
legit
know
wanna
that.
know.
Yes.
So back to your question. How do you know which of the things are
So
the
if
things
that,
that you
no,
know?
and I think in
Why
that
you-
situation, I would expect a level of transparency
Something that
from
can
my
affect
partner.
you.
Transparency,
Something
yes.
that
And
can
is that
affect you.
yeah, that level of
Exactly. That affects
transparency,
you.
like
Yes.
Something
that is
affects you.
legit.
That affects you.
But who
Knowing
told
all
you your
the
body
10
count might
people-
not affect me?
Why
Why
should
would it affect you though?
Why should it? Why
Yeah,
should
but
it
now
affect
you're
you?
speak-
No,
Okay,
wait.
Let me-
Answer the question. Why would it affect you?
Why
No,
does it
but you know
affect you?
what? I'm not saying it should or shouldn't affect.
them Why does
but
it
I'm
affect
saying,
you?
how come you have a right to be affected by something and your partner doesn't? You don't get to choose what they're affected by.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
if you
understand. But
can
why?
ask
That's
the
what
question.
I'm saying. Generally, why does it? If
But
you're
you ca-
speaking
but
to
they
somebody
can say
new,
to you, why does me sleeping with your best friend affects you?
Because
Yeah.
that's my best friend.
because that does
Yeah, but
affect
then
you.
okay,
No,
but
but
the
that's
point is,
subjective to you.
Different things affect
Alright,
different
Yeah,
people.
that's
That's
fine.
fine. That's fine.
I think
If
You can't
knowing,
ask, why does it affect
yeah,
you?
that's fine. If
that
knowing
genuinely
how
affects
many
them.
people your person has been with is the be all and end all of your
Ask
relationship,
and I'll tell you.
then no, because I don't have to tell you. So if I don't want to tell you, then
But then
you know,
that could be
we're
the
at
end of it.
crossroads.
You will not have to know
Yeah,
any
now,
more than
now
that.
we're at a crossroads. How important is this?
If you're not
is
going
this
to be open
information
with,
to you?
if I'm asking that question and you say I don't want to tell you, and the person doesn't accept it willingly, that they don't want to tell you the number or whatever the question is,
'Cause what is it?
then cool, boom, that's the
What,
end
it's-
of that
You know what?
conversation.
Oh, guys,
Is five
guys,
okay?
guys, guys,
How do we know?
guys,
Five is
guys,
okay, 10 is
guys,
fine.
guys,
Can I-
guys,
sorry.
guys.
Where'd you
My
cross the
best
line?
friend,
Can I-
and I don't
10,
want to tell you.
We're having too
No,
many
you can't.
conversations.
It's a
guys.
problem.
Stop.
That is a problem.
Sleeping
Wait,
with my
so
best
someone-
friend is
someone
the
has
problem.
asked on
Yes, because
IG
why do I want to now
Wait, go
be
on.
there?
Someone has asked on
I
IG, why do you need to know if she's not sleeping around? Why do you need to know?
Exactly.
Okay. and I understand that. I understand that. My point is, you are about to go into a relationship, right? I think
You're
I've-
already in the relationship.
you're in a but like we're talking about a marriage relationship, right? This is what you're going
okay,
towards.
before marriage. Okay.
Before marriage. So I'm actually coming back to I think what Bim said about full openness, and I think there should be full openness and transparency.
Ask me a question, I'll give the answer.
I actually think the person shouldn't be fishing. They shouldn't have an agenda behind it. But if it comes up somehow, I don't think the other person should say, I have a right to hold it from you. I don't think you have that right, actually, in a marriage to become one. Like,
What?
it's
Okay,
not,
okay.
there should be
Wait,
nothing,
wait,
there should be nothing about you that is hidden from
no,
me.
Tolu, because actually,
Okay.
no. So we just had this conversation.
Because what
I'm
does
coming back
knowing?
to I'm coming back to the point where you said, when we were talking about like physical abuse and sexual abuse and opening up old wounds, right? So are you saying in that moment that they don't have a right to hold that from you?
So
Are you talking about that
Exactly.
as well?
no, so
Exactly.
in
So-
that situation, no.
No,
In-
no,
wait,
because
wait,
now
wait,
you're
because
now
no,
you're
wait,
making-
wait,
because you
wait,
said what you said.
wait. In that situation,
Obviously, you have to be sensitive.
Exactly.
With different
So-
So how
wait,
do
wait,
you
wait,
know
wait,
that
wait,
that
let
body
me
count
answer.
question is
Can
not
I
a
answer?
sensitive
Can I
question?
answer, please?
What if the person
Can I
has been
answer the
been sexually
question,
abused
please,
and they don't want to
Tadio?
tell you all of
Tadio.
those things?
That,
So now what do you now say?
Let's let Tolu answer.
Okay.
So I think there is a way to be sensitive about different things. In the example I gave, the person had told me there is this thing that happened that I feel away. So they had told me that something happened, but they didn't want to go into it because it was sensitive. I think that's them telling me. But at that time, I was immature. I was younger. I then pressured them into telling me the details. So I think that one was a failure in approach from me. That person did share. There's a difference with not letting me know about something and telling me all the details of the thing. So I think in that moment, that person can still say, oh, I did go through something traumatic in my childhood, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to talk about it. You still told them that there was something.
I still don't think it's the Christian approach for you to going back to body count to make them tell you. I literally
So
don't
we're
think
talking-
it is.
I didn't say
The
make
only
them.
part
I
of
didn't
the-
say make them. I said that's the wrong approach. Making someone tell you the details of something. And let's stop saying the Christian approach. If we want to go to Christian approach, let's talk about our relationship with Christ. Christ wants us to come and tell him everything. Christ wants us to be completely transparent. He wants us to tell us the deepest things, the oldest things.
Christ.
That's
But
Christ.
you're not
That's
Christ.
not
The
your partner.
You ain't
relationship between
Christ.
us and Christ
you
should
ain't
be
Christ.
the same.
But
We
husbands
use the
Are you
love
model.
your
serious?
wives as
Love your
Christ
wife
loves
Yeah,
as
the
but
Christ
our
loves
church.
the
husband's
church.
there.
Come
like,
on, of
are
course.
we, as
you guys
humans, are we
serious?
there yet? We're
But
not there.
that's where
Are
we're
you guys
trying to
serious?
get to.
No,
Okay, but we're not there
we're not
yet.
there
We're not
yet.
there yet.
All
we're
right.
not
Let's
there yet.
calm down.
We're
Let's calm
trying.
down.
So we're not there yet. So don't try. Don't don't
doesn't
work
mean
on
that,
doing
no,
that.
This is what
Don't
I'm saying,
make that
but
the
we're
ideal.
not necessarily at the point where we can handle all this information.
So-
So I don't want us
so
to start trying to
work-
pretend
so
that we
work
are.
on your
No,
faith
but exactly.
so that
Why
you
are we
are at the
pretending
point.
that we are?
No. So work on yourself to be more Christ-like, so that you can be at the
Instagram's
point.
popping off,
Yeah,
guys.
then until that point, don't ask questions that you know you can't handle. Like legit.
No. I hear you, guys. Wait. There's a question about approach, timing, sensitivity, blah blah blah. There's wisdom in how to do it, but the principle that we're talking about here is full openness.
Transparency.
This is where we should be getting to, where we can be completely naked and unashamed.
Totally.
That
But
was
you
our
just
thing.
want to use.
We said we wanted to
point
be
it back to
one
the middle.
naked
That's the
and
anchor.
unashamed. That's where we're trying to get to.
I'm still not on this
High
thing.
five.
I don't see how that now translates to me having to tell you, or your
What-
partner having to tell you what
Can I-
their body count is. What is that? Like,
No,
like
for
we
me-
keep
Can
saying
I read
no,
a
and the
comment?
reason
Grace,
we can change,
Wait,
we
wait,
can
wait.
change
Grace
it, but
has
we
a
do have
comment
some
Grace
comments.
has a
on
point here.
YouTube.
We
When-
also have comments in Instagram, so do the
Okay,
YouTube ones
okay,
and then
then
we'll do
you can go.
Instagram ones.
Grace says, when we apply for certain jobs, we have to submit a DBS. So why can't we submit to a DBS in a relationship?
There you go.
Not the same.
Okay,
I'm sorry, Grace. I know you had my back earlier, but I don't know.
Okay, so me.
Yeah.
We've got a couple of comments in our Instagram is popping off. We've got
Yeah.
Hannah in there, and we have Els Up in Christ in there as well. And there's some comments here.
No, it is up in Christ.
It's not is up in Christ.
Yes, okay, just
Is
read the
up in Christ. Sorry, is up in Christ. Okay.
Okay.
I actually don't think that it is that. I believe it's
All
else. But anyway,
He's up in Christ. Please let us know what's the right way. Please.
definitely else. But okay.
It's not else.
Okay, cool. Fine. It's up to you.
Okay,
All right.
what are they saying,
Lies shame the devil.
Oh my gosh, it's else.
Thank you very much. Okay. I mean, I said it. You have another one from Els Up in Christ. You can have your privacy with something, and then why do you need to know her? Why do you need to know if she's not sleeping around? What does it gain for you to know about body count? That was another thing that was from earlier on. And then Els Up in Christ also said, when you get married, you should know everything about your partner.
I think that's a very.
Hannah also said, at one point it was getting quite heated. Hannah said, it's getting heated, boy.
No, I like.
Hannah also said that she agrees with Rachel. And
Thanks, Hannah, man.
oh, our Instagram is popping up. We got loads of comments in here.
We love to see it.
How telling people what they can and can't hold you. I want to know, and you tell me, and I don't like it if it's my business that I get upset. You should not care.
So basically,
I
if I tell you something, you should not get upset.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
Or
that's
if
the
I don't want to
principle.
tell you something.
No. I don't think. I think if we're going back to the Christian way is unconditional love, not withhold so that we don't test if there is love or
Sometimes it's not even withholding.
No,
Sometimes
I'm just
it's
saying, like,
being
wait, no,
comfortable
wait, we
to say
agree.
something.
No, we
Acknowledge
agree,
hold on.
guys.
that
we
there's different people are on different journeys, right? Because you did make that comment earlier about I can handle it. Like maybe if you're not there to receive that or to give that in a relationship, then absolutely you should be honest and say that. But I think the principle that I was saying is we're headed towards marriage. Like it's an open book. There's nothing that I'm hiding from you. There's nothing you're hiding from me. But when you do share with me, it doesn't mean that I'm going to judge you for that. Like
There it
like
is.
Tadayo was saying before, like the past is the past. I'm not going to judge you for what you've done, but I just want to know going into the marriage, like
And
this
if the
is who you
pers-
are and this is who I am.
If the person loves you, I don't think they'll ask you what's your body count, because that's not a sensitive. I think we kind of came
But
into
if
the
they're
conversation.
in
mean,
love with
you
you,
put
that
it there.
question would have come time
No,
before,
like
regardless.
I'm just saying, forgetting
Yes.
kind of insensitive questions. The thing we're talking about
We've
here
grown
is
up so
if
much.
something comes up and
If it comes
w-
up,
now it's like, actually, what is this thing about your past? I don't think you have the right to say I won't share it.
The thing is that no one's gonna. If you don't know something, you won't even ask the question unless something happens that maybe you're
Exactly.
watching something and maybe you now say, "Oh, has this happened?" You know what I mean? Or maybe you're in a conversation
Exactly.
about this thing or whatever. You know, I think people need to just know that even when you are about to get married, I think people have been through so many things. Yeah. And there are some things that you might not get to know because people are broken, right?
Yeah, but the
you
message-
might not know.
No, but the message shouldn't
until-
be.
I'm not saying that that's the message. I'm just saying that
this
this is the reality. This is the reality. I might not be ready to tell you
course.
this
And
thing
again, we
because
talked
I
about-
might still need to work on it. I might need to go to therapy. I might not know that this thing is affecting me in this relation, in the way that I'm connecting with you until you maybe pull it up. You always do this thing, and then you have to now see, why am I doing this thing? And then maybe that's when that conversation comes up. This is what happened to me when I was this age, because it hasn't come up because you've buried it so far deep inside you. So
But
you
Talia,
might not know that before
but Talia,
you
what
get
you're saying,
married.
But what you're saying is actually, like, I think even more so something that needs to be said, because this is something that is still affecting you. This
No,
is
but you might.
something-
What I'm saying,
No,
what I said
because,
is you
like,
might
a lot
not
of the other
know.
things-
I
a lot of the-
said
a lot
you
of
missed
the other
that.
things we were talking about were things that shouldn't matter. They don't matter one way or the other. I think if there is something that is actively traumatizing you and can actively influence the way you behave in a
said you
marriage with
might
this
not-
I
person,
actually agree
you
with
do
you
not
on that
wait
one.
till you're
Yeah.
married
No,
to
yes.
find out about
No,
that thing.
I'm
There's a difference,
saying
as Hannah
that you
saying.
might not know
If you don't know, that's different.
that something is affecting
Hence
you
why, if
because
it
it's
comes
so
up,
buried.
explore it.
If it
Hence
comes-
why you shouldn't
That's what I
run
just
away
said.
from exploring
Okay.
it.
That's what I said. If it comes up, it might not be. If it comes up because it's now really affecting things, and you are actually now saying, "Babe, listen, you always behave like this in these situations.
Why?
Has something happened? Why do you behave like this?" That's a chance for that
Those are
person to
different
say,
things, yeah.
"Actually, I've never thought about this before, but this happened." And that comes with a way of being able to sometimes look into yourself. Everybody's not able to analyze themselves. Some people are much better at analyzing themselves, looking at situations and matching those situations with the way that they behave easier. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how some people are. So if it comes up, then fine. It comes up and then you now have that conversation.
Yeah.
But actually your partner might not know that that's a thing unless they're just asking you hella questions all the time. They're not going to know that you're actually not saying something. You won't know. If I don't tell you, how are you going to know? How are you even going to know to ask me? You won't know. So it's only if I tell you that you
That's
will now
literally
know.
what Hannah just said in the chat just there as well.
Yeah, do you want to
Yeah.
read out that comment and then we'll...
So Hannah said it takes a certain amount of time for people to be comfortable enough to share certain things, even if you are headed towards marriage. If you're dating for a year and then you get engaged and are married within 2 years, that just might not be enough time to reveal whatever this thing is. It might not even come up unless there's a reason for it to. Yes, what
Yeah,
Tad said.
and I think
I get
like
that.
Yeah.
if things come up and like we said, if it's not something trivial, but if things come up or there have been like deep traumas in your life that actually are impacting the way you view life, the way you view the world, the way you interact with people, I think you should have those conversations with your partner before you get married. And I think even if you don't want to go into the depth of these things, I think your partner needs to have a level of awareness that this thing has happened. And I think it's about maturity and like actually know, like, you don't need to know the trivial things. Like, honestly, if it's something that your partner is not comfortable sharing, you don't need to know. But the big thing, the major things, I think, there's a level of transparency that we should be having in relationship, especially when we're working towards marriage.
And just to add on that,
So we've got a couple of comments I just want to quickly read. Just one from Hannah. I genuinely think people should be healed before they enter any relationship, because when they're ready, then they might be able to build intimacy from a healed perspective. And then Elzap said, pray about it and let God deal with it and will lead you in the right path. Right. Yeah.
That's
Agree.
true.
L's up. I'm sorry for getting it wrong, man. L's up. I love it.
confident as well.
L's up in Christ. I
Tolu,
like
I'm
that.
gonna go
Look at
to
how
you for the
Tolu can
last.
really be on me when I'm telling
I
him.
apologize.
I
I thought
also,
it was an I.
I thought so too. I also
I mean,
thought
can
so.
you
I'll be
Consider-
honest, it's because I know
What-
Els Up has kindly posted us on the Instagram page.
yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I think
I'm gonna
I-
come to Tolu for the last statement, unless anyone has any burning statements they want to say. So think about what you're about to
I think
say
it's a good
wisely.
one.
Okay,
I think
go.
it's good.
Okay.
So I think we've been on the side of the person who should be telling about the thing, but I do think there is a real message as well to partners and like how they approach their significant other. If someone's going through something, because that's what I had to learn. That's
Yeah.
what I did wrong.
Yeah.
And I definitely think like if we're going biblically as well, like it is still love your partner like Jesus loves you. Jesus doesn't come and hold all your past over you. He
Yeah.
doesn't come.
Love is
and,
patient. Love is kind.
Exactly.
It
All
holds
of
no
those
grudge.
things.
it holds
Yeah.
no
So I
grudge.
definitely
Think about that.
in terms of how do you build intimacy the right way, like I think we've been in open, but the right way is
Mm-hmm.
with all of that love, patience, kindness,
Yes.
like genuine it's about the other person's well-being, not for my information or based on what I think. If I actually
Yes.
love that person.
Yes.
So, and I think
Yes.
I would actually argue that maybe there's more learning to do on that side from a lot of us.
Yeah.
Oh
than
yeah,
on the other
100%.
side. So
100%.
100%.
I've been coming hard against the other side, so I just want to acknowledge that.
No, I loved it.
recognize
I absolutely
that's-
loved it.
That's a
Yeah.
thing too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Guys, man. I mean,
Wow.
I didn't get through half the questions I wanted to ask,
To
but
be
I
honest with
really
you,
enjoy
the
it.
title
I really...
of this, we didn't even get to what the title
Yeah,
of this
yeah,
thing is.
yeah, that part. So there'll be a part 2 that I'm actually quite
Part
excited
2 is
for.
happening.
So yeah,
We'll
that
grab the
part.
red mic again for
I'm
that.
having the next mic again
Yay.
next time. I've said it. But yeah, no, the actual topic is one that I've been sort of exploring. So we'll get to that next time. But thanks to all, I think the level of engagement we've had
Our
today and the
engagement's top.
comments,
It's the
like,
best, the
Love it.
best.
Thanks for turning up,
Thanks,
everyone.
guys, and thank you guys for a great conversation. Are we gonna do this thing where everyone says one thing?
Nah, I think
Nah,
Nah.
thank you,
Yeah.
thank you.
I think it needs
thank
to
you.
Good chat, guys. Good
Yay!
chat.
End the part 2 that'll
Hannah
happen.
said that she's coming back next
Yes,
week.
Hannah. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you
guys,
all
for
so
listening.
much. Thank you.
I think we should take home message
Mhm.
is. What was the first part? What did we say? There was that one
Wow.
word we kept coming back to.
We were.
I
doing
know,
so
I
well.
know, I know. But there was
Conversation.
no, it wasn't conversation. Discernment.
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 And
Discernment.
that means making sure that you have that connection and you're praying and you are asking the Holy Spirit to lead and to guide you. That's the most important
Yeah.
thing, you know.
Yeah.
Prayer, man.
And love. Approach
And
your
love.
partner with
Yeah.
love.
Yes.
An open heart.
And an open
Yeah.
heart.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
yes, yes.
accept it,
yes.
and
Yeah.
you don't have to really accept it. You just have to digest it in
Do you
a
know
way
how
that
I
you can.
tricked you guys
Okay.
into saying one thing? But yeah, guys, it's
Thank you
been
all so
great.
much.
Please like,
Socials.
comment, subscribe,
Yes.
turn on the notification bell on
Yes.
YouTube.
Share it, share it, share
Follow
it.
on
is
Insta.
On it, so we
yes,
are-
follow us, The Eden Ideal, on all platforms, on every single platform that you find us. We're so blessed that
Amen.
all of that, those handles were available
Yes.
everywhere.
Yes.
Thank you, Jesus.
But yeah.
The Eden Ideal everywhere. And we
guys.
also have a website,
Oh, yeah.
which is theedenideal.com.
Yeah.
That's it.
So guys, have a
Thank you,
great week, and we look
Thank
forward
you
to
all
seeing you
so
in
much.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
I stopped streaming before you said bye. I apologize.
Did you stop streaming on the
I don't know how to stop
Instagram?
streaming.
On Instagram.
Oh.
End
Stop.
video.
Instagram
yeah, done.
family? We're gonna stop it now.
Yes, I said that. I stopped before you
Els
said that.
up said, be
Can
back
you come-
next
can you come and
week.
tell me-
It's not next week.
What's the thing to do
man.
here?
Even Hannah said be back
Talia,
next
what's the
week.
thing to do here? View insights, view in live archive.
Wait.
That was like the most comments we've
Most
had.
amount of engagement, man.
Yeah, on
Like-
YouTube. Please open it. Open
I've
it. Open
been
it.
dying. Oh my god.
I'm so glad I'm off camera.
I don't sweat, and I'm like, oh my god.
Extra
Extra light.
Oh, so wait, do you know June Burton? Is that you?
did you?
not. You're
Oh, it's
live on Instagram, on YouTube.
No, we're not.